Okay, I would like to call the August 4th, 2026 City Council meeting to order at 6:30. The public is encouraged to join the meeting online or by phone at the numbers printed on the agenda, which can be found on the city's website at www.diamondbarca.gov, or in person, Main Auditorium, South Coast Air Quality Management District. We have also allowed public comments to be submitted in advance to the city clerk. If any were received, they will be noted for the record when we get to the public comment period. This meeting is being recorded, and by participating, you are giving your permission to be televised. This meeting will be rebroadcast every Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. and alternate Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and archived for viewing on the city's website. We will we will work with the Pledge of Allegiance with Councilman Chow, and if you would stay standing, we will have the invocation by Dawson Campbell, Youth and Outreach Pastor at Landmark Church.
Please rise, place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for today, and we pray for wisdom for the decisions that are going to be made. Lord, we thank you for this great city, and we just pray you watch over us and protect us. Lord, guide us and give us wisdom. Lord, you're so good. Thank you for your son, Jesus. In your name, amen.
Amen. Quick and to the point. Thank you very much, Pastor Campbell, and especially for being here. We appreciate that. City Clerk Santana, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Here.
Councilmember Liu?
Here.
Councilmember Tang?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lowe?
Here.
Mayor Tai?
Here. And that brings us to approval of agenda. City Manager McLean, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes this evening. Thank you.
Outstanding. The agenda is hereby approved. Now, the next thing we're supposed to do, we are going to do when and if they come. We have a special presentation for Ariel Hu, and from what I understand, she's not here yet. So if we understand that she will be here, if we see her, we'll move to that. Mr. McLean, if you could take over 3.1, Public Safety Update.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity to share an update about the city's public safety and law enforcement statistics. As we've reached the halfway point of the year, I thought it would be a good opportunity to share where we're at and how we compare to the previous year. This is going to be a much briefer presentation than you're used to when we do the annual public safety report. This is a spot in time that we're looking at, again, a 6-month comparison. When we look at total Part 1 crime, that includes both violent crime and property crime, you'll see a very significant decline year over year. This period is January through June of 2025 compared to the same period for 2026. And so you'll see at the top the totals, 347 Part 1 crime incidents so far in 2026. That's 145 less incidents than the previous year, a difference of about 29.5%. You'll see a slight increase in violent crime. As I have mentioned in previous discussions related to public safety and our statistics, historically, Diamond Bar has very low violent crime levels. This year, you'll see a fairly significant percentage increase of 36%, but that is driven by a total of 9 additional incidents, a little more than 1 per month during this period. And so we're still very, very low when we look at it through the prism of comparing across the city's history. Property crime, we've seen some very significant declines as well. We've had 313 incidents as compared to 467 the year before, a decline of 33%, which is a very positive sign. We'll dig into the numbers a little bit in each of the primary categories. For violent crime, when comparing 2026 to 2025, again, we've seen that increase driven by 9 additional incidents across the 4 categories that you see there. The increase is in the robbery and assault categories, where we've seen a 13 total incident increase when compared to last year. Again, we're still well within the low ranges that we've seen over the past decade plus, and I'm confident that we'll probably level out as the year goes forward. Moving on to property crime. Property crime is more than 90% of the crime incidents that happen in Diamond Bar on an annual basis. And so this is where we'll focus most of our attention this evening. Again, we've seen a 33% drop year to date in property crime, very significant reductions in the burglary categories. We've seen almost 60 or a little over 61% decrease in total burglaries, residential burglaries down by more than 50%. And other burglaries, which include commercial burglaries, down nearly 75%. We've had some incidents still. As our former captain used to say, we are a low crime community, not a no crime community. So we still need to work on reducing those numbers to the best of our ability and ensure that residents are prepared and vigilant about protecting their properties. But this is a very good sign to see the significant reduction. The same goes for larceny theft. We've had a 14% reduction in larceny theft. And what's very nice to see is a more than 55% drop in larceny theft from vehicle. When we look at our statistics on an annual basis, a large percentage of our total Part 1 crime comes from thefts from vehicles. And often this is due to unlocked doors or items like laptops and other electronics left on seats in the view of somebody who's looking to take advantage of that situation. And so we have, in many of our meetings that we've done with members of the public, our Let's Talk Public Safety outreach, our Coffee with the Cop, Neighborhood Watch, a lot of discussion about lock up your vehicles and don't leave anything valuable in the car. And it seems like that's working a little bit given the significant decline. Auto theft down about 14% for less incidents than the previous year. So again, on the property crime side, very significant reductions, and we hope to keep that trend moving forward through the rest of the year. So just as a reminder, as we absorb the good news, the numbers that we see that are declines across the board, we still need to maintain that vigilance that I mentioned before. The City Council has continued to invest very heavily in public safety, and that's reflected in our budget, as this is the single largest line item in our budget. This is why it's so important that we maintain fiscal sustainability going forward so that we can maintain the funding necessary to keep our public safety programs robust. We also need to maintain our good, positive working relationships with the Sheriff's Department and work on ways to engage the public to participate in programs like Neighborhood Watch, Coffee with the Cop, Let's Talk Public Safety, and so on. If people are not aware of this, we do have all of our crime stats from a historical basis all the way up to today on the city's website in our open data portal, and you can dig into any time period or specific category that you're interested there, and we update those on a monthly basis. And then also our public safety subsite or webpage on the website has lots of detailed information about hardening your home, how you can protect your family and your property, and so on, and all that information remains available on the website, and we'd encourage people to take a look at that. And that wraps up my brief overview. Again, good news across the board, and we need to keep that happening going forward, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the council has. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. It's good news to see the property crime drops. And however, there's an increase of violent crime that even if it's smaller number, that it's not that much. So it probably, we probably never had any study or any discussion to how can we do to prevent any of those violent crime. For example, there's two kinds of violent crime that's increasing. One is assault, one is robbery. And understand assault is usually from the domestic problem, and robbery probably coming from outside too. This is probably a more severe form of a property crime. Have we done anything to for public education to how to decrease this kind of violent crime? For the domestic problem, do we have any like a family clinic, any consulting psychology, family help to help the people to deal with the family domestic problem?
The city does not have any standalone programs that it offers for psychological help, counseling, or any of those kind of programs. What we try to do is just keep people informed, and so we do a lot of public outreach. I mentioned some of the ways that we go about keeping the public engaged and aware of what's happening in town, and to protect themselves and know how to do so. As it relates to, excuse me, responding to any domestic issues, the Sheriff's Department, I believe, has some programs. I need to check into that and get back to the City Council to give you the specific details with those. Most, again, as you mentioned, Dr. Tang, the incidents that happen as it relates to assault are largely domestic in nature. We don't see a lot of random violent crime that takes place in Diamond Bar. And so we're not likely to see, incidents just happening on the street. Most of them are happening between parties that are known to each other.
What about the robberies? Have we give the education to the resident that what kind of robbery, what's the condition that they can get this robbery crime? How to prevent this? Do we do anything like that?
We do lots of public outreach, particularly when we do neighborhood watch programs, and those neighborhood watch programs provide homeowners and business owners with ways to harden their properties so that they're less likely to be the victim of a property crime, whether it's a burglary or a robbery, making sure that they lock their homes, that they maintain proper security systems. If they're out of town, to sign up for the Sheriff's Department volunteer on patrol, vacation checks, and different programs like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to add that I was at the Coffee with the Cop yesterday with Deputy Jason Sotelo. It was very helpful. I think if the audience or our public would take time to attend those events, I've attended several. I try to attend as many as I can, actually. They're not, I wouldn't say they're heavily attended, although the ones that do come, I think they get a lot out of it. And Deputy Sotelo does spend a lot of time talking about exactly kind of the importance of having, for example, Neighborhood Watch. And I know he's having a difficult time getting up-to-date information on block captains. So if, for those who are here, go back and tell those in your neighborhood, if you have such a program in your block, have an updated information with the city or with the sheriff's office. Make sure they have the most updated information so that when deputy can reach out and make sure they have the right phone number and email even, just so we can reestablish those programs. I know on my block, for example, we have unfortunately, such is the case that when someone has a burglary at the house, that's when they run out and install alarms. On my street, my neighbor's house unfortunately got broken into, and that's when I'll kind of rally our neighbors together and formalize our neighborhood watch program. We now have a text chain, so every time we have a car that drives in that we don't recognize, our phones just start going off. We start texting our neighbors, and we have a picture of the car. I feel bad for whoever comes in our cul-de-sac unannounced, their pictures and their cars are immediately announced to the entire street. So fortunately, since that incident, we have not had an incident on our street since. Personally, I think that's probably the most effective thing that you can do to help prevent burglary on your block. Just get to know your neighbors, know what cars actually comes in. And when you recognize, when you see something that doesn't belong, just notify your neighbors and call it in. I think for whatever reason, some of our residents have a hesitancy of calling things in. No, they love getting calls from us. So when you see something, say something, just call it in, let them figure it out. If something just looks out of place, just call it in. That's what they're there for. Yeah. So I think that's probably the best way to help keep those numbers down. Yeah. Thank you.
I think what you're saying is important because how many times, we've heard Captain Towsey say it, when people say, I didn't think I should call because I didn't want to bother you. You got to bother them. Call it in. Yeah, absolutely call it in. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. My question is regarding the violent crimes. You mentioned that the assaults are mostly arising out of domestic violence situations. Of the robberies, were they stranger robberies, or are they known known between the perpetrator and the victim?
I don't have specifics about each of the cases that are listed there, but most of the time when it's a robbery, it's not known to the victim. And so, again, while I can't speak to each specific one, in general, that is the case.
Okay. And how are we doing with the, what is that thing that we do, the etching? Catalytic converters. Has that, are those numbers gone down, or where do we stand on that?
As far as catalytic converters, that would be included in the larceny theft, I believe, category. And you saw that there's a pretty significant decline there. So from that, I can interpret that there has been a reduction in those incidents. And likely that our efforts to keep people informed through the etching program have led to that reduction as well, or at least contributed to it.
Yeah, well, that's great. And then you mentioned that in addition to the Neighborhood Watch, we have a Volunteers on Patrol program. How are we doing with respect to our recruiting in terms of getting, I know there's like, what do they call that? The silver tsunami, people are retiring, people who are interested in public safety. How are we doing in getting people involved in serving on those volunteer committees?
So the department is always looking for additional volunteers, and what they're looking for in particular now are people that are willing to go out and do patrol work in a volunteer vehicle. They have a lot of volunteers that volunteer at the station and do some behind-the-scenes type work, but where we're really in need of somebody that is looking to volunteer is out on patrol as extra eyes and ears in the community.
So are there special requirements?
No, the program is operated by the Sheriff's Department. It's a Sheriff's Department program. If there's interest in participating, they can contact the Sheriff's Department front desk directly or City Hall, and we'd be happy to put them in touch with the right person.
Okay, great. I hope we can maybe build up that program, because that seems to be boots on the ground, and it does help. Every little bit helps, and I feel like that would help. The Neighborhood Watches help, and our extra forces help. All of patrol helps, but these are things that doesn't impact our budget, so it would really serve us well to increase in that. Great, thank you.
Anything else? Everybody's been heard. Excellent. Thank you, City Manager McLean. That brings us to public comments. Public comments is the time reserved on each regular meeting agenda to provide an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the council on consent calendar items or other matters of interest not on the agenda that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. Although the City Council values your comments, pursuant to the Brown Act, members of the City Council or staff may briefly respond to public comments if necessary, but no extended discussion and no action on such matters may take place. There's a 5-minute maximum time limit when addressing the City Council, and at this time I will call up speakers who have submitted a speaker card first. Then City Clerk Santana will ask for those callers joining the teleconference who may wish to speak under public comments. I have one speaker card, and that is Cynthia Yu.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, and members of the audience. My name is Cynthia Yu from the Member Library. I'm happy to share our upcoming program in August with you. Join us this Thursday, August 6th at 10:30. Learn the basics of machine sewing. Participants will learn how to thread a machine and live with their very own mini tote bag. On Monday, August 17th at 4, we're hosting a teen bottom making workshop for ages 13 to 17. Teens can drop in to design custom bottoms celebrating their favorite books, courses, or fandoms. We also have a great family event on Tuesday, August 18th. Join us for an afternoon of family-friendly crafting as we make musical instruments like drums, maracas, tambourines, and rain sticks. All materials are provided while supply lasts. Beyond our events, I want to remind everyone that libraries are cooling spaces during these hot summer days. You are all welcome to stop by during operating hours to escape the heat, enjoy the air conditioning, and access our full range of resources and services. Finally, school is almost in session, Students can drop by to pick up a free LA County Library keychain to celebrate the new school year. We also have resources to ensure students succeed, including online tutoring and study support. Please visit our website, lacountylibrary.org, for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yu. Is there anybody else? I have no other cards. Is there anybody else that would like to address the City Council? Now would be the time to come forward. Okay. City Clerk Santana, were there any public comment emails received, or are there any callers on the line?
Mayor, there were no emails submitted for public comment tonight. There are some callers on the line, and if any member of the public joining this meeting via teleconference would like to address the City Council, please select the raised hand icon in your GoToWebinar program now. And I do have Mr. David Reynolds.
Is he muted?
Yes, he is. Mr. David Reynolds, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was not unmuted. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, and residents of Diamond Bar. My name is David Reynolds. I'm a 37-year resident of Diamond Bar. And tonight, I just want to make some comments regarding the structural deficit. The trends and costs have been evident for quite some time. Budgeting, as we know, is not just a snapshot. Solid budgeting requires continual analysis and incorporating sensitivity to future scenarios. And this is a fiduciary duty that the council and staff have to the residents of Diamond Bar. Given that, it's just a side comment, but given the situation we are in right now, there is a glaring dichotomy to me visible in the city. Now, on one hand, we have drip irrigation is being reduced, and the beautiful vegetation along median strips is dying. Roadways are cracking in some areas, making me wonder sometimes if I am driving along an older street in Pomona or if I'm actually in Diamond Bar. But beyond this, and this is as far as the dichotomy, I see that, and I also see that services are being scaled back. But in the midst of all this, I see a very major improvement and beautification project happening along Diamond Bar Boulevard between the 60 freeway and Golden Springs. The labor intensity and time related to this project must be sucking up a tremendous amount of funds that could have been used to keep our median strips beautiful, maybe keeping road maintenance on schedule, and not sacrificing some services. Now, I understand that projects like what we see along Diamond Bar Boulevard, takes advanced planning, coordination, and maybe it is also tied into the future town center logistics. At this point, the project is live and there are contractual obligations, so I guess I'm just here to vent regarding that. But in closing, I just want to end where I began. Solid budgeting requires solid future analysis, and if a large project has funding at hand, it should not be approved in a vacuum without considering, the future needs across all city cost centers. And I believe the residents deserve this. So thank you for your time and attention, and hopefully your future consideration. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Is there anybody else?
No, there are no other hands raised, Mayor.
Very good. With that, we will close public comments.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me.
Oh.
I think, is it possible to respond briefly to Mr. Reynolds' comment?
Oh, sure. I
Yeah.
think that's all right. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, why don't I have our city manager respond briefly to that comment, because I think that he verbalizes what many residents are thinking, so it might be helpful.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the City Council, and Mr. Reynolds for the question. I can understand where that question comes from, given the situation that we're in with the budget. But that project, the Diamond Bar Complete Streets project, is fully funded with grant funds and special funds that have restricted uses. And so the general fund is not being used to pay for that project. We were able to get a very generous grant, I believe, through the county, and that has allowed us to proceed with the development of that project. It is not coming from the general fund, and those funds could not otherwise be used to complete landscaping work, irrigation in the medians, hold concerts in the park, and so on. And so we are able to leverage funds that have very restricted uses and capture grant funds to complete that improvement project without hitting the general fund.
And isn't it also true that if we didn't use that fund this year, that money would have been gone?
Given the various sources of those funds, there may certainly have been some restrictions on the use after this budget year.
Good, we're good. Anybody else? City Clerk Santana?
No other callers on
Just
the
one.
line.
Great, thank you very much. So seeing none, we'll now move on to schedule of future events and followed by the consent calendar.
I will remember that this time. Tonight's schedule of future events includes a paper shredding and e-waste collection event to be held this Saturday, August 8th at 9 a.m. Until 1 p.m. And that'll be held here in the South Coast Air Quality Management District parking lot, 21865 Copley Drive. The Planning Commission will meet on August 11th, or actually they will not meet. That meeting has been canceled on August 11th. Coffee with a Cop will be held on August 12th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Paris Baguette, located at 21050 Golden Springs Drive. And then finally, the City Council will meet again on August 18th here in the South Coast Air Quality Management District, beginning at 6:30. Moving on to the consent calendar. Item 6.1 is the City Council meeting minutes of the July 21st regular meeting. Item 6.2 is ratification of the check register dated July 15th through July 28th, 2026, totaling $683,287.08. Item 6.3 is the treasurer's statement. And finally, item 6.4 is a professional services agreement with City Guard Incorporated for security guard services through June 30th of 2029. And that completes the consent calendar this evening. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. And would anybody like to pull any items for discussion? No? Okay, then we will take a vote. We have a motion from,
Motion.
I'll second.
great, we have a motion from Councilman Liu and a second from Mayor Pro Tem Lowe. Call the roll, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow,
Yes.
Councilmember Liu,
Yes.
Councilmember Tang,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lowe,
Yes.
Mayor Tai.
Yes, thank you. Motion passes. That brings us, shouldn't have shut that off. Public hearings, we have no public hearings on tonight's agenda. Moving on, we will go to council consideration, which is item 8.1, City Manager McLean.
Thank you again, Mayor and members of the council. Item 8.1 is adoption of a memorandum of understanding with AFSCME, Municipal Employees Local 917. And for the presentation, I'm going to hand it off to our Human Resources and Risk Management Director, Amy Hauk.
Good evening, Mayor Tai, members of the City Council. As City Manager McLean mentioned, the item before you is consideration of the adoption of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Diamond Bar and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 917. To provide some background on the issue, the Diamond Bar City Council adopted two resolutions, resolutions 2003-65 as well as 2025-08, which established the city's employer-employee relations resolution, providing a framework for employer-employee relations. This resolution sets forth provisions for granting exclusive recognition to an employee organization as the representative of a defined group of employees within a bargaining unit. Collective bargaining is conducted in accordance with state law, which is the Myers-Milius-Brown Act, or MMBA, which requires the city and recognized employee organizations to meet and confer in good faith to reach agreement on matters within scope of representation. Once agreement is reached, the terms are documented in a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, and then presented to the union membership and City Council for approval. In January 2025, the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Local 917, or also known as AFSCME, was recognized under the city's employer-employee relations resolution as the exclusive representative of part-time, non-benefited Parks and Recreation Department employees. The associated part-time job classifications within that bargaining unit are facility attendants, rec leaders, senior recreation leaders, as well as recreation specialists. The city began negotiations with AFSCME in January 2026, and after a series of several sessions, reached tentative agreement in mid-June of 2026, and the union reviewed the proposed MOU with their unit membership, and they approved the deal in early July. A full copy of the proposed MOU is attached to the city staff report, but I wanted to highlight just some of the key terms of the MOU. It is a 5-year agreement through June 30th, 2031. It consists of 16 various articles in the document related to employment policies such as discipline and grievance procedures, employee status, as well as the establishment of a labor management committee meeting. It provides for reasonable annual increases, a total of 15% over 5 years, as well as provides for state mandated benefits like sick and bereavement leave. In terms of the estimated cost to implement the provisions of the MOU between the city and AFSCME, it is staff's best estimate that in year one, an additional $56,000 may be required for part-time salaries, and it is staff's plan to return to the city council during the mid-year budget process to request additional resources based on actual costs. In years 2 through 5 of the MOU, it is estimated that we will need approximately an additional $16,000 to $17,000 per year, again, to implement the increases to part-time salaries during those years, for a total of approximately $123,000 over the 5-year term. Before I conclude the staff presentation, I did want to take a moment to acknowledge and really thank both the city and AFSCME bargaining teams. I can personally attest to the fact that both sides really worked diligently throughout the various bargaining sessions. They were committed to finding solutions, which really led to an efficient and effective collective bargaining process, considering that we were bargaining for an initial MOU. As I mentioned, there were a total of 16 articles, and so that was a significant amount of work that was done in about 5.5 months. So again, just wanted to express my gratitude to both the city and the AFSCME bargaining team. So special thank you to Ryan Wright, Parks and Recreation Director, legal counsel, from AALLR, which includes Irma Rodriguez-Moisa, Brittany De La Torre, and on the AFSCME team, Corey Cordova, the AFSCME business agent, as well as 2 of our part-time Parks and Recreation employees, May Anderson and Deborah Butner. And so finally, it is staff recommendation that the City Council adopt Resolution 2026-29, approving the AFSCME MOU for a term of 5 years. And with that, I'd like to conclude the staff report and be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Haug. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on behalf of AFSCME tonight?
Mayor, I do have a hand raised on the teleconference. 1 second. Ms. May Anderson, please unmute your microphone.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Amy, as well, for the presentation. So yeah, good evening, everyone. On behalf of Local 917, we'd like to express our sincere appreciation to AFSCME, the City Council, Diamond Bar community, and employees who make it all possible. Our members take great pride in the work they do every day. When people attend an event, enroll in a class, or enjoy bingo, they are experiencing the work of our full-time and part-time employees. Our members work hard in assisting people, solving problems as they arise, and staying afterwards to clean and set up for the next event. Their contributions may not always be visible, but they are fundamental to the quality of service Diamond Bar provides. At the same time, we recognize the difficult financial decisions the City Council has faced this year, such as necessary budget reductions. We appreciate the consideration given to Diamond Bar's long-term fiscal stability while continuing to invest in its employees and services. The MOU presented reflects months of collaboration and good faith negotiations between the city and the union. It represents a fair and balanced agreement that recognizes the values of the employees who serve this community while supporting the city's operational and financial goals. We're grateful for this partnership with the city, and we look forward to continuing to make Diamond Bar a place of pride for residents, businesses, and visitors alike. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that would like to be heard? Okay. Are there any public comments on this item? Nope. Okay. City Clerk Santana, is there anyone online that would like to speak?
Mayor, we still have guests on the line. If you'd like to comment on item 8.1, please click on the raised hand icon in the GoToWebinar program now. And there are no hands raised, Mayor.
Very good, thank you. Any council comments or discussion? Everybody's happy. I love that. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion of approval.
Second.
Councilman Chow and Councilman Liu for the second. City Clerk Santana, please call the roll. The
Yes,
vote.
Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu?
Yes.
Councilmember Tang?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lo?
Yes.
Mayor Chai?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for a job well done that took an incredible amount of time. And I think my wife would tell you I'm not the most patient person in the world, but for you to go through what you went through for that period of time, thank you very, very much on behalf of all of Diamond Bar. Appreciate it. That brings us to council subcommittee reports and meeting attendance reports. Let's start with Councilman Chow.
Thank you, Mayor. It was a quick 2 weeks, so I didn't have a lot of meetings, but just a quick report. I think all of us were at the mini pitch ribbon cutting just now, but I'll let the mayor talk about it. I see that you brought back a trophy, so I'll let you talk about it. Just one quick report. We did receive the latest 2026 assessment rule from our county assessor, Jeff Prane. One thing real quick, as he always says, he's the assessor, not the tax collector, so don't confuse the two. Real quick, so our total assessed value for the entire city of Diamond Bar came in at $13.48 billion. It was increase of 3.5%, or roughly about $453 million from 2025. Total assessed parcels came in at 18,010. There are 22 apartment complexes and 757 commercial industrial parcels. It's important to point out, though, that although assessed value came in at $453 million above last year, but that doesn't mean the city received $453 million in revenue. So that's one important distinction to point out. It is going the right direction, but the city certainly didn't receive all that in revenue. So, but it is going the right direction. So with that, I'll say good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Liu.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Moscow Lighting, Alex Morgan Foundation, CVS, and our City of Diamond Bar, particularly our Parks and Rec, and putting the mini pitch system together. We're all there for the ribbon cutting. It was very exciting. And then I had the chance to ask Alex Morgan the question that many people ask me, that did she really play in Diamond Bar? So I said, Alex, did you really play in Diamond Bar? And we pointed to the fields over there in Pantera Park. Yes, we play ASO there, and she plays some softball. And it's so great that for her to come back and give back to our community and the community all over the world. And it's really life-changing for a lot of kids. And I'll let the mayor talk a little bit more about the more to show you. Okay, and then on Monday, school will be back here in Walnut Valley Unified School District. And you know, the first week, especially on Monday, it can get kind of crazy. And so maybe we can leave a little bit about 20 minutes earlier on Monday. And when we see someone that's a little bit slow and confused, maybe we can take a breather and pause for about 15 seconds. And that can make life a lot easier for everyone. So with that, and I wish everyone a great new school year. Thank you so much. But I'll say good night.
Thank you. Councilman Tang.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, for this afternoon's event, it was a lot of fun, and I'm very impressed with this so-called mini pitch court. It's a small with a hard service, and It looked like it's easier to build and easy to maintain. And most important, I think it brings to the community a lot of fun for the young people, for the young families, and they can enjoy a lot of activities there. So I think our city should have more of these fields so we can attract families to enjoy it. And also that just want to cite the good doctor from CVS Health, the Dr. Armstrong. She said the best health is you can get is not from the medical clinic, is what you get from this kind of sports field. So I totally agree with that. So I think that will be very important for the healthy Diamond Bar. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank our staff for putting together that ribbon cutting. That was really a lot of fun. And again, I will let our mayor talk about it since you have our wonderful souvenir there in front of you. But it really was a really nice day for our city, and it's really nice that the Diamond Bar has some local celebrities coming to join us. So everybody got enough photos here today? Yeah, very good. All right. Okay. Anyways, congratulations to the Rotary Club of Walnut Valley, which is the Diamond Bar branch of Rotary. They had a very successful blood drive, and I don't know if you know this, but blood is required all year long, but people go on vacation during the months of July and August, so they don't give blood during those months, but people still need them. So if you haven't given blood and you're able to, it might be worthwhile to go on the internet and find a blood drive going on, because you might be saving someone's life. And so congratulations to Rotary for taking on that effort last week. I attended the Economic Development Subcommittee with Councilmember Chow, and of course, after very robust discussions, we hope to kickstart our economic development in our city. So thank you for staff for putting on that effort, and thank you so much for the work so far, and enjoy the rest of the summer. Thank you and good night.
Thank you very much. So let's start with the good news. On public safety, when you've got numbers like property crime down 33%, you got residential burglary down 52%, auto theft down 14%, that is terrific. These guys do a great job. These men and women do a great job for Diamond Bar, and I'm grateful for it. Public safety is a priority. It always has been since we've lived here, since I've been on the council, and it will continue to be that as well. So what an afternoon. I shared with Ryan Wright on the way in tonight that I've gone by his office before. I've been at a concert in the park before, but I've never seen him as nervous as he was with that crowd. Hey, you, move over there. No, hey, come on, get with it. It was a blast. You did a great job. The whole thing, the whole team that did it was just outstanding. And it starts and ends with Alex Morgan. She did just so gracious. I think when I was leaving, I said to Mayor Pro Tem that, can you imagine that you're 7 or 7.5 months pregnant and you're in this environment and it's 90 degrees out there? You wouldn't know it with her. But one of the interesting things that she did say, Stan, is when I asked her, she had a basketball as well as this. And I said, oh, do you play basketball? She goes, yeah, I played, but I wasn't very good at it. And then you think of what she's accomplished as playing soccer. She played softball in school, and basketball is like, you can't have it all. So just the fact that she was here, that this happened, the mini pitch happened in Diamond Bar because of her efforts. You can't say enough about her. And here we go. Yahoo! Here's the trophy. So we'll put that somewhere safe. So,
Tell what it says, Mayor. Amazing.
It says, City of Diamond Bar, thanks for helping me live out my dreams. That's pretty, that gives me goosebumps
Amazing.
too. I like
Yeah.
that. So very cute. But it's, it's one of those things. I think I forgot to mention it, that it was 10 years, it might have been 12 years ago that she was in Diamond Bar. I think it was one of our parties for the the annual, what am I looking for? Birthday party, thank you. And she stayed when people were around her saying, you know what, Alex, we really need to get going. I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do. And she sat there and did as many as she could during that period of time. And she got the key to the city. So, and she did say today that she knows where it's at still. So that's impressive. Probably as many times as she's moved, it's moved a few times. So it was a great day. It was a lot of fun, and thanks to her, thanks to the whole team that made it as fun as it was. So with that, I will say good night and God bless you at 7:16. Lots of fun.